on Sunday Night Primetime.
Our NFL friends up north are busting out the sweatshirts and blankets, but not us. TIAA Bakefield is pretty idyllic tonight, almost perfect, as we say hello from Jacksonville. Tonight, we've got a great Sunday night matchup on tap, as it'll be the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brandon Gaudin joined, as always, by Charles Davis. But, Charles, a lot of optimism here in the Sunshine State about these Jaguars. They're the defending AFC South champs. They won a playoff game last year and gave the Chiefs all they could handle in the divisional round.
And last season was seen as one where they were just going to try and rebuild and regroup. And they did all of those things and then exceeded expectations. Quietly, they've amassed a lot of talent, and they expect to make another run in their division.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Ravens, I think everybody seems ready to turn the page from 2022. A tough finish down the stretch. Some wacky plays in that loss to the Bengals in the wild card round. They just want to reset and come out swinging in 2023.
Oh, I love how you just expressed that. You're exactly right. Reset and come out and playing Ravens football again. And look, they had some anxious moments in the offseason. Now, a sigh of relief. They have their key pieces in place. They're ready to attack.
Justin Tucker set to boom this one away. And off we go from Jacksonville. This fielded right at the goal line. And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30. Well, the Jaguars ready to go on offense for the first time. And they're led by the former #1 pick in the draft. In his third season now, Charles, Trevor Lawrence.
And you want to talk about enormous expectations being placed on a quarterback. How about what Trevor Lawrence faced coming out of college? But the good thing for him, he's used to it. He had the same type of expectations leaving high school and going to Clemson. They always expect him to be a franchise savior, whatever team he joins. And to his credit, he shouldered those expectations, and he's doing everything in his power to follow through.
It'll go as a loss of a yard on the game's first play. Second down.
Overall, I'd have to say that was just really good team defense, because to me, you can't pin that one on the running back. He had no shot there. He had a man in his face immediately.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Another tote for Etienne. And he'll get about 3 here as he's out to the 30. An early tough test on the opening drive. This is 3rd and 8. Here's Lawrence to throw. And the Raven pressure too much. Down he goes. Blowing that play up, Roquan Smith, as he gets the sack. But defensively, you really can't script the start much better. You get a 3 and out and a sack.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. They kept him short of a first down on 1st and 2nd down. And then on 3rd down, they pick up a sack. What tremendous momentum for them to start this game.
So on 4th down, here's Logan Cook to punt for Jacksonville. Fielded at the 33. That hurts. If it was running into the kicker, wouldn't be a first down. Roughing, it is a first.
And just think about the differences between the two. Running into the kicker almost feels inadvertent, just a small tap, so to speak. But when you rough him, usually bodies are hitting the ground and flying all different places. And the difference is 5 yards or 15. And in this case, that's a big play.
Caught on the right side by Jones. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. 11 more yards that go around, a first down as well.
It's a nice completion and a little bit of run after catch as well to create the yardage that they got. But it is so tough to cover that route, the drag route, because they run it at varying speeds. Because the key is to create hesitancy on the defender's part.
Always so empathetic for those DBs, aren't you? And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
I know at times people think we use it too often, but you've got to be able to throw guys open. And when you read zone, you've got to stick it in there before your receiver gets to the next guy in the zone. Otherwise, you bring him into the play.
And that's precisely what allowed that defense to disrupt the pass. Now Lawrence to throw. Caught by Jones. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down. It's a throw again is Lawrence. Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete. That's a pretty good opening possession defensively.
And you know the goal is to make something of a statement, especially on the road with your first defensive possession, isn't it? Go right out and establish yourselves and let them know this is going to be tough going all game long.
A Cook now on to punt as he gets this one away. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Ravens offense set to go to work, and it's Lamar Jackson now at his 6th NFL campaign who will lead the way.
Early part of his career, defenses really had to focus on his running ability, and they still do. But now he's turned himself into a true dual-threat quarterback. When he plants his cleats in the ground and turns it loose, good things happen downfield.
The drive will start with an option going left. And oh, right away, he lost the football. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
Well, that was a big oops right there. But how about his ability to correct it? Loses the football, able to get it back himself.
Yeah, pounced right back on it, keeps possession. The fumble on first down. Now here's 2nd down. First carry now for Gus Edwards. And a good stiff arm there before he's brought down on a nice little game. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for 3rd down.
I don't think anyone thought we'd see a run facing 2nd and that long, and that element of surprise, I think, helped make that play so successful. Nice effort on that carry, and it took what seemed like 2nd and impossible, now has him within throwing range of a first down.
Jackson. Pass taken in by his big tight end, and he will have a Ravens first down by about 3 yards or so as they wind up getting 7 there on 3rd and 4. I have to imagine many a defensive coordinators had a sleepless night trying to game plan ways to slow down Lamar Jackson. What do you think is the most effective way to try to do it?
Well, you've got to be a little counterintuitive because normally you're sitting on the wide receiver 1, aren't you? But with Lamar Jackson, I'd sit on the tight end. He loves to throw into the middle of the field, loves that position as his #1 target. Take that away and hope you have a corner who can stand up man-to-man against his speed guy on the perimeter.
They'll come up on a 2nd and 4 now from the 40-yard line. Off the option, here's Edwards. He went backwards there 8 yards, and it brings up 3rd down.
You want to talk about the proverbial deer in the headlights? That's exactly what he was when he got the ball. Went to hit a lane and get upfield, and all he saw, extra defenders bearing down on him. Perfect time to dial up the blitz. An excellent call.
They need 12 here. It's 3rd down. Now Jackson. They're looking deep here for Flowers. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
So 1 first down on that drive, and that's it. Forced to take the deep shot on 3rd down and couldn't hit it. Now they have to punt this one away.
Facing 4th down, Baltimore will punt. Jordan Stout out there. Fair catch called. It's taken in right at the 20-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. So time to see Jacksonville again on offense for the 2nd time here in this game. Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time, hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. And a short pickup to about the 25.
Not a big run on the first play of the drive, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad play. Sometimes you're just trying to settle in, get your guys a little bit of contact, and get things moving.
They'll come up 2nd and 7. And they'll go again with Etienne. And they get him behind the line, so that short gain on first down quickly negated. It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now 3rd down coming up.
But they're certainly not neglecting their run duties as well as they ate up the blockers in front and allowed the secondary to get home.
3rd and 8. Lawrence will throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. The 21 yards there as they convert on 3rd.
And that's well executed there on 3rd down, and I love the confidence that they had to let their tight end try and find some space in the middle of the field, right in their quarterback's line of vision. And QBs love to make that easy throw, and they hooked up there for a 1st down.
On 1st and 10, it's Etienne. And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain, 2nd down.
You've got to be impressed by that defensive front on reps like those. They were not being moved off the line, kept their shoulders square, and gave their teammates time to fight to the ball and limit that gain.
Here's a 2nd and 8. They go play action with Lawrence. Had his hands on it, but dropped it. The rookie making a little bit of a rookie mistake, 3rd down.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away, but the bottom line is that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Play action. It's Lawrence. And that will be incomplete.
Well, we keep stats on everything, don't we? This is one that you don't want to have. That's his 2nd drop right here in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say only in the 1st quarter. Certainly a ship that he wants to right quickly. On 4th down, on is Logan Cook to punt. And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. Baltimore set to take over here for their 2nd possession of the game. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
Now, during that run, an injury here. We got one of those big blockers in some discomfort. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. They'll throw on 1st down with Jackson. That's complete. It's Rashad Bateman. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
Partner, you know when we call a game, we talk about Lamar Jackson and his speed and his elusiveness and the ability to get him on the ground and how tough that is for a defense. But how about his development as a thrower, as a professional?
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on 1st down. Off the play fake, here's Jackson. He'll find Bateman once more. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another 1st down.
Partner, this is one of the best routes anyone can have in their offensive playbook. Tough to defend because you think it's a go route, and then he breaks it back on the comeback. There's one other thing you need as well.
A well-thrown ball.
Exactly right. You have a guy who has some precision in throwing the football because of the timing of the route.
Jackson throwing complete there to Flowers. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd down. So a decent gain there, but not their 4th consecutive first down like they had on the first 3 plays.
You sound almost disappointed there. You want to fire the offensive coordinator on that one or what?
They'd gotten into a rhythm. I thought they were just going to keep going.
Well, almost a win for the defense, but if that's your win, you're not doing very well right now.
7 yards there and a first down. No score after 1 on EA Sports. Raven football here as we begin quarter number 2. As they've got it with a 1st and 10. Throw caught by Flowers. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone just inside the 20. Now those linemen, of course, can't be more than a yard downfield when a pass is thrown, and they might have been able to call that on a couple of guys there. Jackson. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
Well, it looked like a quick hitter, a 3-step drop, but when it's not there, what do? He elects to try and escape through the massive bodies up the middle, and he does so and picks up positive yardage.
Throwing is Jackson. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Brought down by Trayvon Walker on the pass rush.
They've gobbled up over 30 yards of turf so far, but a sack knocks them backwards. And that interrupts the momentum they were building. Good opportunity for the defense to escape this drive before they get to the end zone.
Now after that sack, it's 3rd and long for Jackson and the Ravens. They'll set up to throw. And that went to the right side and incomplete. Jacksonville's pass defense holds serve. 4th down.
Like what I see so far out of this defense because they've been showing their best coverages on 3rd down. So far, only allowed 1 conversion on a handful of attempts. One area of their game plan that they've executed to perfection.
Tucker's kick is good, and the Ravens strike first at 3-zip. Well, in a close game like this, obviously you want the touchdown, but certainly they will take the 3.
And they'll be okay with that, but let's throw a little credit to the defense as well. And I'm just glad this doesn't come down to a debate, right? Which side won, partner? Because the defense, hey, we didn't give up a touchdown. The offense, hey, we put 3 on the board. Either way you look at it, I think both sides gained something out of that drive.
Tucker now following the made field goal, set to kick it away. This taken in at the goal line. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. This one a little slow to get cooking, just a 3-0 scoreline as they begin with a 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground, Etienne, and he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Some teams like to start aggressive to begin a drive, but this is still what you expect to see in normal situations. Just call a simple run, get a few yards to begin the series, and set yourself up for something bigger on 2nd down.
Off the play fake, here's Lawrence. A short throw to Ingram. So he'll be stopped here for no gain. 3rd and 7 now.
I know exactly what's going to be said about that play from the defensive perspective.
What's that?
That's why I tell all you guys we need more than 1 tackler to the ball. He broke the first tackle. Luckily enough, there were more people there to get him down.
They go play action now. Lawrence. That is caught. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That third down conversion good for 23.
Kind of a dangerous throw there. He's off balance when he gets rid of it. But this is all about a quarterback knowing what he can get away with. And that time, it turns into a completion and a healthy gain as well.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Out of the gun, it's Lawrence. And his throw's going to be incomplete. A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
Now Lawrence to throw on 2nd down. And he will find Ridley on the left side. And he's going to be taken down with the 1st down at the Ravens' 38-yard line. That one a pickup of 15 for Jacksonville. So in Raven territory now. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now Lawrence. That's complete to Parker Washington. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. From the 29, here's 2nd down at a yard. They'll fake it on the jet sweep, and instead a handoff up the middle. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. The Jaguars on 3rd down. 2 for 5 to this point. This time they face a 3rd and 2. Looking to throw, Lawrence. He's got his target. That's complete. And he will have a Jaguars 1st down as they're able to convert by plenty there on 3rd and 1.
And that one was a lot of fun right there because that was the game within the game. 3rd and short, blitz was on. What's the key for the quarterback? Get out of your hands in a hurry. And that was a quick little completion. Got the job done for a 1st down.
And they'll throw on 1st down with Lawrence. On the slant, he'll get it to Jones. Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and it's 2nd down.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
That's caught. It's Strange, the tight end. And the Jaguars are going to be set up with a 1st and goal coming up as they get him down at the 6-yard line.
He's certainly done a nice job spreading the field on this drive, and here he finds his big tight end for good yardage. And that's what you have to do. Keep defenses guessing about where you're going to go with the football.
Throwing again here. It's Lawrence. And did he get the feet down? Yes! Touchdown! Calvin Ridley from 6 yards away. And the Jaguars have taken the lead. And he just did get those feet in there on the side of the end zone. Well done.
Probably the exact size foot necessary, because I think if he had another half size, that catch doesn't count. And he's able to get it in, and it counts for a touchdown.
On here, Brandon McManus for the point after. And this is up and good to make it 7-3. So that one a long 11-play drive. And it's Calvin Ridley who finishes it off with a touchdown reception.
Let's get some roll.
After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away.
Devin Duvernay now returning from the end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Cost him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field.
Last time out, you remember their drive stalled, but thanks to their kicker, booted a long field goal to at least get them 3. Now here they'll try to do better and find the end zone.
And in our experience, how much fun is it for coaches to know that they've got a kicker who can nail it from long distance? Now, the hard part is, as an offensive play caller, you don't want that in your head too much where you're relying on it, and he goes out and gets the job done for them. But I'm quite sure he would be content to just kick extra points from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely no question. I think his teammates would be okay with him just kicking the extra points as well.
On second down, Jackson. The connection here with Nelson Aguilar.
And that was yardage that they needed there after the sack on first down. They didn't get all of it back, but now they look at third down as a manageable situation, one that they have a much better chance of picking up.
And the Jags have 5 in the secondary here on third down.
Jackson. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he will have a Ravens first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
Here's Jackson. This one into the hands of Aguilar.
It's a big play there for Baltimore. 54 yards.
And the offense is saying to itself right now, if only they were all this easy, because he was wide open. And once he made the catch, plenty of room to work his way downfield. That was a breakdown on the defensive side of the ball, one that they want to fix immediately.
Two minutes to play in this first half. 7-3, our score.
So it's 1st and goal and a great opportunity to get that lead back before the break. Jackson now. And in for the Ravens touchdown.
Isaiah Likely.
A 7-yard touchdown grab.
And the Ravens are once again back in front.
He was on point throwing the ball right there. He had the big play to get him down close, and then he delivers a touchdown pass on 1st and goal.
And you mentioned the big play that got him down close. I think that big play left him reeling a little bit. They didn't recover from it. And you know, they always talk about having to have a short memory on defense after a big play against you. Looks like their memory was a little too long there.
Tucker with the extra point, and the lead is now 10-7. So that drive spanned 5 plays.
And finishing that drive off was the touchdown grab by Isaiah Likely.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
Out of the end zone comes Johnson. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return.
Out comes Calvin Ridley and the offense for their next drive. Previous series, definitely a focal point. 3 catches, the touchdown grab. As a DB, or former DB, is there a number of catches on a drive you're like, oh, he got the best of us?
I'm not
looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Rock Ya-Sin. And the return will be stopped at the 34-yard line. Well, when I looked down, he was kind of shaking his head right after he threw that pass. What did you see?
Well, from a defense's perspective, anytime you have your eyes back towards the quarterback, you're in a position to make a play on the ball, whether it's a big-time play by you or an overthrow by the quarterback. You have a much better opportunity.
The Ravens and Lamar Jackson about ready to take over once more. He threw a touchdown pass last time they had it, and he'll look to get him in the end zone again here as they start with the first down.
After the interception, here's Jackson, and his throw is incomplete.
Everything looked right on that play except the conclusion. He dropped it, an in route, going into a little bit of traffic. Maybe in the back of his mind, he was wondering where the hit was going to come from.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Here's Jackson to throw.
That one into the hands of Flowers.
And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27.
Timing is so important on a route like this because he's going to line up out right and then cut straight across the field. I think the ball might have come out a count or two too late because by the time he was able to secure it, not much of a chance to turn it upfield.
Jackson looking to throw on 3rd.
Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he will have a Ravens first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
A little football 101 there. You just see the receiver try to run down the defender, meaning he goes right at him and really trying to move him a little bit towards the center of the field so he can put his foot in the ground and break to the out, to the sideline, and make a catch.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10.
Jackson will throw again. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Flowers. And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion, and it'll be 2nd down. Now it's Jackson. And it's caught.
And the Ravens are going to have a 1st and goal coming up as the tackle made at the 3-yard line.
The Ravens going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Again, Jackson.
Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
They may be snapping the ball near the goal line, but all you're thinking defensively, keep them out of the end zone. Force the incompletion, force them into going for 3, and not giving up 6.
They'll go again from the 3 here on 2nd and goal. Jackson dumps it off to Edwards. Touchdown!
Gus Edwards
from 3 yards out.
And the Ravens will extend their lead in the final minute of the half.
And that's certainly an important score right there because they gave themselves a 2-score cushion heading towards halftime. Now you got to force the other team out of their comfort zone, and it changes the way you approach the second half as well. How you want to do things on offense, and your defense feels much better too, having that lead.
Tucker able to connect on the extra point, and his guys will take a 10-point lead. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
Johnson won't return this, and the football will come out to the 25. The Jags going to go on offense now late in this first half. And with him down 2 scores, you wonder if they might try and put something together, even if it's just to get into field goal range.
And they'll indeed start on the ground to run that clock. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Second and 6, just inside the 30. Lawrence will throw. Throw left side, complete to Ingram. Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. They go play action now. Lawrence. His throw incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Here's Lawrence to throw. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Washington. And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens' 32-yard line. The Jaguars now will use the last of their timeouts as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1.
Once again, we got to get it done.
So Lawrence will exit, and on comes Brandon McManus for the Jaguar field goal.
It'll be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash. The kick by McManus is good, and they're back within a touchdown. It's 17-10. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And with only 9 seconds remaining, well, not much time, we'll see how they play this.
And he'll power his way forward for about 4 yards there on the first down carry. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Ravens out in front as we now go downstate to Orlando and check in with Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome in everyone to our downtown Orlando studios and this EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay,
this has
Coach,
certainly been a fun one to watch so
this
far.
One's still
we knew this was going to be a battle.
As we
we have not been
for
disappointed.
quarter number
this
3.
is the kind of game that could wind up hinging on which side can play mistake-free football the rest of the way.
One touchdown is the difference. 17-10 our score, and we are back underway on EA Sports.
And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further.
Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter.
This offense set to begin the third quarter, and Charles, if they had a checklist of things they wanted to accomplish in the first half, certainly at the top of that list would be having the lead, and they've got that here.
That's always the most important box to check, isn't it? But also, they've had some success in their passing game, so probably an empty box. establishing the run. They're on pace for fewer than 100 yards in this one. So now they want to make sure that they get that going so they truly have a control in this ball game. And down the stretch, being able to be balanced, either throw it or run it, and try and win this ball game.
Jackson on first down. That's out to Hill, right side complete. The result, only 4 yards there on the play, and it'll be second down.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game, after a while, they might just run through some of those tackles and go a long way.
Well, we saw him shed a nice tackle on that play.
On second down, here's the option.
And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. 14 yards that time, but a first down on the keeper.
Well, partner, for a few years there, we thought this read option play was going to take over the whole NFL. It seemed like everyone was using it, but it has been scaled back considerably in the last few seasons, mainly because people are worried about their quarterbacks getting hit. But when you call it at the right time and you use it properly, you see the type of gains you can get. A nice chunk of yardage there by the quarterback.
And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up second and 11.
With his size, he's a tough man to bring down, but they do a nice job there stopping his progress and not allowing him to get back to the line of scrimmage.
From the gun, Jackson. Complete to Likely.
They'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for third down.
Now that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
And some room to roam now. And he will have a Ravens first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
Brandon, they're still in the lead, but momentum's certainly been going the opposite direction. So to me, that's a really important pickup there on third down.
Try and regain some confidence, and you're right, they need to stem the tide a little bit. That certainly helped. Now Jackson on first down. And his throw here's incomplete.
They had their backs up against the wall a little bit, and they come through by forcing an incompletion. Now they've got to continue to ratchet up the intensity a couple of more times and get off the field before giving up any more yardage.
So after the incompletion, second and 10 from the 22. Now Jackson. Checks this down to Edwards out of the backfield. That helps the completion percentage, but not much else, and now it's third and 10. Now, they couldn't get anything going there out on the right side in the flat of the swing pass.
And didn't we have a discussion with their staff about wanting to get the backs more involved in the passing game? Huge emphasis for this game, but obviously the defense had other plans and really made a nice play.
On third down, Jackson keeps himself upright. That is caught and in for the Ravens touchdown. Odell Beckham, a 22-yard touchdown grab.
And the Ravens take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead.
That seemed pretty ideal there for the offense, Charles. You take a little bit of time off the clock here in the third quarter, decent length drive, and you pad your lead as well at the end of it.
And what it does is let you feel like you're in control of this game, even more so than a 2-touchdown lead, right? Because you have taken that time off, as you noted, which means they couldn't get you off the field. You ran your playbook the way you wanted to, and you gave your defense some rest. What a big-time drive in that situation.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
Taken at the goal line. And good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20.
Here comes the Jags offense now. Time for their first possession of half number 2.
And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to start setting in. You can't go out there and go 3 and out and run the risk of falling behind substantially, but you have to do it without pressing, because pressing, that'll lead you into bigger errors.
Let's go, baby. Touchdown.
Now a 2nd and 6. ETN once more. And he'll get about 3 up past the 25.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down.
Now Lawrence. And this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on 3rd down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
That's an excellent job right there on 3rd down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a 1st down. Instead, you saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's 4th down.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. This is brought in at the 21. A 48-yard punt, 7 on the return. And the Ravens, they'll take over.
Baltimore about ready to go on offense. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways, because you know they're both motivated, they both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28. Jackson going to give this one to Edwards. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line.
41 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
So from 2nd and long, now we go to 3rd and very manageable.
Yeah, they love that phrase, don't they? Because as an offensive coordinator, you can keep people a little bit off balance and guessing, because you don't have to throw it. You can come back with a strong run game if you want to. And if you're in 4-down territory, that really opens things up for you.
He's got his target. That's complete. And he will have a Ravens 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I'll tell you what, a lot of those mid-range throws have been available, because sometimes teams get too concerned about the deep ball and they leave too much space in front of them, and these guys have been taking advantage so far.
So in Jacksonville territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Throwing is Jackson. He'll get this to Edwards out of the backfield. Nothing on that one. It'll be 2nd down.
That's a nice job defensively to make sure everyone was accounted for, because ordinarily you pick up the guys downfield and sometimes you forget about the running back. In this case, they did not and dropped him for no gain.
Now an option play on 2nd down.
The quick feet by Jackson.
There he goes again.
And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown.
It's a scintillating run by Lamar Jackson. And the Ravens take a 3-touchdown lead.
So a designed run all the way, and he took it the distance. I don't know that anybody saw that coming.
Well, on this play, how about the vision of him, being able to see the open field, make his move, and get there? Oftentimes, defenses have a spy for the quarterback position to try and take care of it. On that play, if they did, it certainly
He's
didn't
lost.
work. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Tucker now for the extra point. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21 points. 5 plays there on that drive. And it was capped off by the touchdown run that came from Lamar Jackson. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
Out of the end zone comes Johnson. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The Jaguars back with it on offense. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Ball on the 27. Here's 2nd and 2. Draw play, ETN.
And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a first down. Keep the sticks moving.
On 1st and 10, it's Lawrence. On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
Just a little beyond the reach there of his receiver. That's probably one he wishes he had back.
He wishes it had been 7-on-7 in practice, or maybe even routes versus air, because that's a completion he makes, 9.9 times out of 10? Just missed that one.
Play action. It's Lawrence.
Completes it to Evan Ingram. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. A gain of 28 yards there and give him a first down.
Good job there of getting his tight end involved because he lines up on the right side of the formation, just works his way across the field. I really like how they were in sync on that one. He spotted the open gap in the zone, and his quarterback found him, and they get a first down.
So in Raven territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Now Lawrence to throw. He targets Ingram for another grab.
And he'll be out just a yard or 2 shy of the 30. He's been a busy man here in this one, and they're showing off some nice footwork to stay in bounds.
And with those types of catches and the volume that we've seen in this game, wouldn't you keep him busy as well?
I would.
Of course. You got to keep throwing it to him. He keeps making plays.
On 2nd down, Lawrence.
And he goes down. The Ravens able to get to him.
Patrick Queen got in there to stick him. He gets the sack.
The drive had started well after a punt last time. Now it's slowed down a bit, and let's face it, they don't want to punt the ball in back-to-back series. They want a sustained drive on this one.
So now after the sack of Lawrence, the Jags looking at a 3rd and long.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens' 24-yard line. With that catch, he goes over 100 yards receiving on the night.
Well, we talk all the time about playing situational football, and right now I think the scoreboard is dictating what they need to do. Where they are in this game, they've got to push the ball downfield, take their shots, try and get big chunks of yardage in a short amount of time. That was a nice play there.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
It sort of looks like they still have some fight in them on this series because it seemed like things were headed for the red zone. But if this defense gets 2 more stops, they can keep them out of that area.
A 2nd and 10 forthcoming here. 3rd quarter action from Jacksonville. Looking to throw, Lawrence.
And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
That's a big force incompletion there to bring up 3rd and long, and this defense can still salvage a little momentum by forcing them to kick a field goal because just a few plays ago, they looked like they were headed towards the end zone.
Throwing again here. It's Lawrence. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he is going to have a Jags first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
And you start to think if it's going to happen for these guys, it's got to start with this drive. Down 3 scores, they need to start making some inroads. And that'll help the cause there as they pick up good yardage and a first down.
Here's a fake on the jet sweep, and instead a give up the middle.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. 1 quarter remains here on a Sunday night. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Jacksonville. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4.
On 2nd down, ETN once more.
And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. A nice job there as he rumbles for 9. And it'll be back to a 3rd and 3.
So a decent deficit at this stage in the second half. 4-down territory?
No doubt about it. There's not a chance that he hasn't looked ahead and said, okay, if we gain yardage on this play, this is what we'll do going forward. If we lose yardage, this is the play call that I'll have ready.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
Here we go. Gotta have it. Lawrence.
Touchdown, Jaguars.
Zay Jones
From 4 yards out.
And the Jaguars have got it back to a 2-score game here in the 4th. So a little bit of a letdown there defensively. I mean, look, you're still 2 scores to the good, CD, but things may be a little more uncomfortable than they had hoped.
Yeah, if you'd kept them out of the end zone there, this game's over. You've locked the door on them. Instead, it's still open a little bit, and they've got a puncher's chance.
Extra point from McManus is good. And the lead will be cut down to 14. After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away.
No run back here for Duvernay. Touchback out to the 25. And Baltimore's offense set for this next possession.
This game was really a tussle, seemed like just a moment ago, and now they've got the momentum. A couple of scores on their last pair of drives and a 2-score lead. I think here now you go conservative, right? Run the football, work the clock.
You know, I usually agree with you, but I'm going after them right here. I want to put this bad boy away. I wouldn't be afraid to throw it. They've got all the confidence, all the momentum on their side. Go ahead and take your dagger shots and try and finish this one off.
I disagree vehemently. I say run the football. You've got the lead.
Well, let's watch it and find out who's right.
On 2nd down, it's Edwards. And he'll take it ahead to the 28-yard line.
48 yards rushing for him now to this point.
He was close to flirting with that sideline, but able to stay in bounds like you know his coach wants him to do and keep that clock moving.
Isn't it funny that we're watching this play when we had that discussion just yesterday about this? What do you do in this scenario? What do you know, what's your mindset? It appeared to me that he'd totally forgotten. He needed to stay in bounds, and then the last second, oh no, I better get down. And he ended up doing the right thing. But at that point, maybe close to letting it slip away.
So the completion good for 6 yards, and that'll bring up 4th down.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping them from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. A 41-yard punt there with no return.
And they will take over 1st and 10.
Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here.
Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a two-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. And they'll throw on first down with Lawrence.
So many times we've seen him try to escape the pocket and do something with his legs, but in this case, the pressure was too intense and he made the wise choice to just get rid of the football and make sure no one was going to get it.
Now a 2nd and 10. Here's Lawrence. Airing it out, looking for Ridley.
And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
And they're at the point of the ball game now where they've got to take some chances. They've got to put the ball in the air and just see what happens. But this defense knows that all too well.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've hit on half of them, 5 for 10. This is 3rd and 10.
Lawrence.
And this is going to be incomplete.
The frustration evident there because he couldn't find anyone on 3rd down, and he left no doubt that he was throwing that one away.
Here's Logan Cook now as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. And we'll see what he can do on the return. It's a return of 4 following a 42-yard punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. And now here come the Ravens. Now there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
And now a throw on 1st down there, but it's incomplete.
I didn't like the look of that play right from the beginning. I thought he should have seen the coverage that was there, tried to force it in. That one, he's fortunate, just fell incomplete.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Jackson now.
Well, so far on this drive, they've done some good work. They force incompletions on 1st and 2nd down, bring up 3rd and 10. That brings up the big question. Do they bring pressure or do they play coverage on this down?
Let's go, man.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. To throw is Jackson. And he's not quite going to get to the marker. It'll be a gain of 8 on 3rd and 10.
Partner, even I can figure out who deserves the lion's share of credit for their lead right now because he has been terrific in a dual threat role, really chewing up yardage and getting them points with his legs. Simply put, that defense has had no way of stopping him, and that's why his side is on top.
The Ravens send their punter out now as he'll come on to kick this one away. And he'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go.
See if they can put this drive in the end zone, Charles, because it's been a little bit of a rough go at times. They've had to punt the football a ton in this ball game because of stalled out drives.
So are you saying that you're kind of tired of seeing the punter run out there and do his thing during this game? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it. I have a feeling that this offense, they don't want to see the punter again.
And frankly, the punter doesn't want to run out there anymore himself. He would love to see his offense put together a drive and give his leg a rest.
An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards.
Good yardage on the completion there. And when they look at the scoreboard, they do understand a field goal is not going to do them any good. My guess, they're going to press the ball downfield as far as possible, try and throw it into the end zone and get a score because they know they've got to get that done and get the ball back as quickly as possible.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Lawrence will throw. And that's complete ETN out of the backfield.
And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens 35. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs. He's having a nice game through the air. His decision-making's been really good. Solid there again. Just seeing nothing downfield goes underneath. Nice gain.
How about the patience? Because when you're having a big game through the air, you're looking for those chunk plays, those big ones downfield. Instead, as you noted, takes the check down, dumps it off, gains good yardage anyway. Really well executed.
This is really impressive because when the offenses are running RPOs, things move very quickly. Fake, ball's out of his hands, and they're trying to hit him in the gaps downfield. And instead, the defender reacts so well that he makes a play on it, and the ball falls incomplete.
Now, meanwhile, here's a second down throw that's knocked away and incomplete.
When you're leading in the final quarter, your radar has to be up for any potential deep shots. And probably not the last one they're going to see in this game, not as long as they hold this lead.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions.
Here's Lawrence to throw.
And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25.
Great vision there by Lawrence as he scrambles for a first down. With nowhere to throw it, decided to scramble, and a nice job, CD. Got the yardage that he needed.
Yeah, and his teammates are certainly going to appreciate that effort, even if his coaches don't, because they would have wanted him to slide and protect himself. But he chose team gain over personal protection.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
Offense was moving it a little bit, had them back on their heels, but they earned a brief pause by forcing the incompletion. That gives them a quick chance to regroup and try and mount a stand before they're backed up even further.
Once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10.
Now Lawrence.
And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
He did a fine job there of not hitting him before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
Lawrence.
And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down.
You wonder with any receiver how he'll handle working over the middle of the NFL, especially with a young receiver. They tried it there to no avail.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out.
And they'll try and throw for it with Lawrence.
And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Jags come up empty on 4th down. And this 10-play drive winds up yielding nothing. So they really needed points here in a 2-score game. Could not come away with anything there on 4th.
And while we know they're a little bit discouraged here, they can't check out of this game. You and I have called a good number of games over the course of our career where we've seen these types of situations. Teams get the ball back, and that miracle does occur. So they can't let that dream go just yet. They have to get stout on defense here.
Yeah, right now really hoping for a turnover.
And that's one of those plays where it's hard to keep 2 eyes on the football when you know the contact's coming, let alone getting 2 hands around it, hugging it to your body, and absorbing the hit, even for those big tight ends who you would think could absorb that contact.
Here's Jackson to throw.
A slant route caught by Bateman.
And they're able to get this one across the 35.
Now, hang on here a second. Looks like a Jaguar in some obvious discomfort from that last play. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment.
They go play action now. Jackson.
A short one there, caught by Likely.
And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to spring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
From the 43, it's 2nd and 3.
Completes it to Aguilar. So that'll get them the first down as they get 9 yards out of that quick slant.
Well, that should be a reminder defensively, and I think it's a reminder to myself because you just can't sell out to stop the run. There's still enough time that this offense can move the football through the air, even on first and second downs, and they obviously picked the right spot to throw the ball there.
And they'll let the quarterback keep it here on 1st and 10.
And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. The keeper there turning into a big play of 23 yards, and it moves the sticks.
It looked like almost a miscommunication defensively because once he decided to keep it, he had pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah, it became a question of, wait a minute, who's got the quarterback? And when you talk about miscommunication, it's supposed to be called assignment football on the defensive side of the ball, but the assignment gets mixed up. That's the end result.
Throwing now, Jackson on 1st down.
He finds Bateman over the middle.
And that's good for a gain of 6, and that's going to bring up 2nd down.
Let's go, boy. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's go right here.
Jackson.
He'll find Bateman once more. And the Ravens are going to have a 1st and goal as the tackle made at the 10-yard line.
When you have someone throwing it that well, that confidently, you don't have to call the game in fear at all, do you? You just go ahead and play.
Yep, confidence with a lead to throw it here in the 4th, and boom, he's on the money.
Yeah, you don't have to tuck your head in and go like turtle at this point. You can just go ahead and play.
They'll run here with Edwards, and he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. That gets him 3 yards closer here as it brings up 2nd and goal. Able to stay in bounds, so the clock keeps rolling. And this defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in, and all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
And he gets halfway there from the 6 to the 3 on a gain of 3. A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal.
Edwards will take this into the end zone. It's a Ravens touchdown.
And that right there is the definition of a statement drive. You're in the 4th quarter, trying to get to the finish line, and here they were able to hold the ball for a long time and move it down the field. And how about them finishing it off with the touchdown run? Winning football 101, check that box.
Tucker now to add the point after. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. A 10-play drive that time.
And it was polished off by the Gus Edwards touchdown run.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
Out of the end zone comes Johnson.
And bulldozing his way through.
And all in all, a pretty solid return. Nearly got it to the 35. They'll mark him down officially at the 34.
Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here.
Well, this game, it has had no shortage of offense. They've been able to put up a decent amount of points on this side, Charles. They just have not been able to keep pace with the other offense they're going against here.
Yeah, that's a good way of pointing things out because now it's not a total loss because, as you said, they've scored some points, so there's some plays they can build on, moments where the game plan actually worked. But overall, though, they were just out-personnelled. They were going up against a team that's playing at an elite level.
Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set.
On 2nd down, here's Lawrence.
And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on third down. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
And now the third down throw incomplete as well. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense are just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they've blanketed the field the entire game using a variety of coverages.
Fourth down. Here's Lawrence. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. No reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on fourth.
Well, I can put my defensive cap on right now, and I know they're saying don't give up any big plays now. They've controlled this game throughout, and all they want to do is see it through to the end. I think they let their guard down a little bit with that last completion.
The pressure gets to Lawrence, and he'll go down.
The Jaguars going to go ahead and use their first timeout as the clock stops here with 46 seconds left to play. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on second down.
Now Lawrence.
And he overshot him there. It's out of bounds, incomplete.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
Seventh play of this drive coming up, but a long way to go on third down.
Looking to throw, Lawrence.
And that's incomplete.
Well, how about the coverage we just saw him break out on third down? Dime defense, blanketed the field with extra defensive backs and speed, unable to find an open hole to complete that pass.
The decision made for them. They've got to go. It's fourth down.
Got to try it here. He's back to throw.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. That pickup goes for 25. What a flip of the script from fourth down to first.
From the shotgun, Lawrence.
And he'll get it down this time to the 17. Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in the game. Still a few inches short of a first down as they come up now on second down.
Now Lawrence to throw.
Finds his tight end Ingram. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. The Jaguars now will use the last of their timeouts. It'll be their third and final timeout, so as they talk things over, we'll step aside.
Here's Lawrence.
And he will throw this one out of the back of the end zone. It's incomplete. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They've given him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks, and he seems a little bit confused trying to complete passes.
On second down, Lawrence. That's to the pylon and incomplete.
Good coverage yet again down here by the goal line. Everyone's blanketed, and he's forced to throw it away and try and come up with something on third down.
This likely a must-have. 3rd and goal. Again, it's Lawrence. To the back of the end zone, but too high. Over everybody and incomplete. So it's been a long drive. They've held the ball for quite a while. Now what do you do here?
Well, to me, at this stage, after this drive, this close to the goal line, 3 points would be a letdown. I'm going for it here.
No choice but to go. Here's 4th down now. Here we go. Gotta have it. Lawrence.
And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. They can't hook up on 4th and goal from the 4, and the Ravens come up big down at their own goal line.
Edwards now on 1st and 10.
And he'll be taken down here, and that is how this one is going to come to an end.
Well, this was a very close ball game at halftime, Charles, but in the second half, that offense kind of kicked things into another gear, and they were able to pull away for the victory.
And, Brandon, I think they're the type of team that just looked in the mirror and said, hey, ton of pressure on, but we're the type of team that can flat out handle it. They stood up with confidence, and made it happen for a victory.
So that'll just about do it for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. From Jacksonville, good night, everybody.